Hello, this is Inside the Press Box with Sunil Sunder Raj of the Everyday Fan Sports. This evening, I'm happy to be speaking with Jake Herrera, who just recently wrapped up his junior year at Villa Rica High School in Villa Rica, Georgia, a starting quarterback on the varsity football team, as well as an outfielder on the varsity baseball team. Jake, once again, thank you for the opportunity and taking some time out to speak with me, and congrats on your success. Both on the football and baseball teams.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's a
Hey,
blessing.
no problem, Jake. So I just was wondering, just if you can give everyone, out there, just in terms of, how everything panned out for you, how everything you were able to succeed, again, both on the gridiron, on the baseball diamond here in your junior year.
Yes, sir. I really think it comes down to the weight room. I really put in all that extra work in the weight room, and that really helped me succeed on not only the football field, but the baseball field as well. So mainly the weight room, also being a student in the game too. So.
No, that's terrific, Jake. Hey, let's talk about the football team first. If I have the stats correct, I think you guys went 9-3 last year, 5-0 in the league. I think lost the first two games, won the next 9, then dropped the final game of the season. Roller coaster. But talk about that. The fact that the team be able to rebound from a tough start. Reel off 9 in a row. I mean, that had to feel good, Jake.
Yes, sir. I actually moved mid-year from Carrollton High School, about 20 minutes down the road.
Okay.
And I'm into the program, not knowing the offense. The guys really took me in and made me feel like I was their family and taught me the offense, and I just blended in well. And then going into the playoffs, it was really fun. Like, I had a fun time playing.
That's wonderful. Hey, let's talk about practices, game day, putting on that number 27 jersey, those pads. Talk about what that represented to you personally, putting that jersey on, Jake.
Personally, I felt like I had something to prove. Moving mid-year from another high school, a whole different community watching me. Like, I felt like I had to prove something. So every day it was just like stay focused, know the plays, and ball out. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, walk me through in terms of preparing for a game. I said there's a lot of preparation that goes into in terms of the practices, watching film. Talk about for you individually, what worked for you. What was that blueprint, especially last year?
Yes, sir. Last year, so in the mornings I would go in early with my OC, Coach Marinelli, and we would cut on film. He'd show me the plays I didn't know, walk me through them, and then we'd watch the defensive film in the mornings. And then also I'd watch some film with my dad at home as well. So I think that had a big impact, like with reading defenses and knowing personnel, knowing what guys what they can do, their athletic ability, if they can jump and make that jump over my guy and make a snag over him or whatever, So yeah. I really think it helped.
Hey, as you know, there's nothing like Friday night lights, even a Saturday afternoon during the fall. I had to ask you, game day itself, you finish up school, then, said you turn your attention to the game, said that evening, talk about, in terms of the locker room, said being with your teammates, with your coaches, again, and then taking that field. There's such an adrenaline rush that goes into it, but just talk about that environment, Jake.
Yes, sir. It was a good environment. We first would eat right after school, a big meal, O'Charlie's, and then we would prepare for the game. In the locker room, it was real quiet and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Hey, what intrigues me so much, Jake, is that you're a left-handed quarterback. I wanted to get, from you just in terms of, having that type of, when you're out there in the field, of course you got to trust, your offensive linemen, your running backs, your wide receivers, but just talk about in terms of when you're executing the plays, out there on the field from your vantage point during a game, just what you see, because it just, again, something that really stands out. But just talk about that, how you've been able to really develop your game.
Personally, I developed my game. I think I feel in a way like put in extra work, like outside of practice with QB trainers, QB Country in Atlanta, Coach Charlie, and a couple of other QB coaches like Coach Beasley, my QB coach last year. And with them, it kind of like it all correlated to the actual game somehow. The drills, like in a way, even though it didn't look like it would or seem like it would, it seemed funky in some way. It would still correlate to the game and make the game easier for me.
I'm just wondering, with all that training, everything that goes into it, when you're just to take everyone behind the scenes, when you're in that game mode, when you're locked in, what you see out there, like, is it just everything is, you're in that rhythm, or you just locked in, just, from the quarterback position being the most important position on the field, there carries a lot of weight and responsibilities with that position, Jake.
Yes, sir. I definitely am. I want to be the leader on the field, obviously, but when I'm back behind the center, 4 yards back, I definitely am like locked in. Like, I don't listen to the fans. I can't hear anything. Like, just me and the plays, or me and the receiver. Like, I'm just locked in the whole time. So
that's great. Hey, I had to ask you, after spending 2 years again at Carrollton High School, that first game that you played for Villa Rica High School, if you remember it, and just walk me through, said what those, what that said, what that felt like, for you personally, Jake.
Yeah, it was actually really fun. I think I threw 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
It was different because I wasn't really supposed to have number 27, but like they didn't have any numbers because I moved mid-year, and they were going to kids number, and I was like, no, he can keep it, and they gave me 27, and I was like, oh, I'll make something out of this. So it was fun being number 27 and doing special things. It was actually against North Springs, and I think we beat them like 49-0 or something, 42-0. But yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, this was an electric offense. I mean, I was looking at the numbers that you guys are consistently putting up, 30, 40 points a game, especially during that winning streak. I mean, just seeing, the offense click on all cylinders. How good was that, Jake?
Yes, sir. It was good when the whole offense ran smoothly. I think this year we'll be able to open it up more and pass a little bit more because it's like a hybrid wing T kind of. So, but we did have 3 good running backs in the backfield, so that helped a lot.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you, just in terms of executing plays, not only, of course, with handing the ball out to your running backs, but also with being in lockstep with your tight ends and your wide receivers. Just talk about that element during the course of a game, Jake.
Yes, sir. So it was more like muscle memory after running it all week in practice with the handoffs and stuff. But with the plays, it was more like reads and working down the ladder, up the ladder, depending on what play it was, and down distance. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah.
Where you are, what hash, and all that. But I really feel like practice really prepared us for the games, especially the wing backs and the running back.
Yeah, no, it's terrific. Hey, let's go back to home games, especially at Villa Rica High School. How special that is. You have the student section, you have the band, cheerleaders. I mean, just talk about the overall environment just there at the high school on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon.
It was like really electric, actually. The whole community on that 9-game win streak would all come out. The stands would be filled, and it was real loud. But like I said, I kind of tried to noise cancel out all the fans and just focus. But before the games, it'd be real loud, and it was really good environment to play in.
That's great. Hey, on the flip side, let's talk about the away games. Of course, you go into a hostile environment, and I said, but again, as you said, you try to block out the noise. But I'm wondering those bus trips, because you know what, a lot of people don't get to see, that true brotherhood, of players, the coaching staff as well. Talk about that. I said, taking those bus trips, going in, preparing, to play an away game, and just the game itself. Talk about that, Jake.
Yes, sir. Actually, whenever that team lunch or team dinner at 3:30 hit, after that was over, I'd put in my AirPods, and I didn't take them out until it was time to get ready for the game. So I just was in my zone, listening to music. But the fans do travel well to away games. Like they support. So that's one thing I'm grateful for. We have good fans, which is really good for be successful. So
that's fantastic. Hey, you talked about the training. I wanted to ask you strength and conditioning. We talked about being flexible, nutrition, resting and recovery. I mean, there's so many components there. I just rattled off, but I said, you definitely have built yourself up. You're in great shape. Just talk about how you've been able to do that now here year after year. I mean, it's hard to believe you're heading into your senior year, but just talk about that, how you've been able to really step up your game in terms of like the off the field work as well.
Coach Barron actually has a really good weight program. I put on some muscle mass, and my max has been beginning to go up ever since I moved to Villa Rica. So I really think it starts there, definitely in the school weight room. But after that, on some days when I wasn't training, I'd go to the current like local gym and do some other body parts, like opposite of what we did at school that day. But yeah, it definitely starts off with Coach Barron's weight training program. It was really good.
Yeah, I don't want to forget about this coaching staff. I know you mentioned Coach Marinelli, Coach Barron, just what they've meant, said in just this short duration of time, the fact that you did transfer in mid-season, how they've been able to really aid you and just, really, how you've been able to benefit from their coaching expertise.
Yes, sir. Coach Barron and Coach Marinelli, they took me in and just taught me everything, not because I just moved, they were just going to kind of throw me to the side. No, they took me in, and it made me feel like I've been there for 10 years, like it was a family. So yeah, they're a really good coaching staff, and I like it here, like it's my family. And so.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Hey, what's so impressive, Jake, is that from your freshman year of high school that you've stayed active almost year round in terms of playing multiple sports, 3 sports your freshman year, sophomore year basketball, but you still, for you, it was training about for football. Just talk about that, because every sport, contributes to one another, but especially with football, just talk about that aspect.
Yes, sir. So my 9th grade year, I played football, basketball, and baseball. And then my 10th grade year, me and my dad decided it would be probably best, in that little space of time between football and baseball, to train for those sports. So I'd be 100% at them, not just be, mediocre. So so I just cut off basketball. It kept me in shape. At first I played to stay in shape, but I started to train instead. So that definitely was a good decision for me and my dad.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. Don't want to skip over that you also played, varsity baseball. Talk about how that went for you. You said this spring, Jake.
It was real fun. The seniors were I loved them, so I'm gonna miss them. But yeah, it was a good year. We didn't really have the best season, but I feel like some other connections and were made with my friends and my teammates that'll last forever, and some memories and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely fun. But I think next year we'll have a better season.
Okay, you played the outfield position. Talk about again being able to thrive in that role, and definitely have to cover a lot of territory. But I think of course, with football, you build up that endurance, that speed. Just talk about that, Jake.
Yes, sir. So playing right field is it's fun. Sometimes I would get the light stuck in my eye every now and then. And one time I fell on my knees and I still caught it, but couldn't see it. But I like playing right field because I can really play anywhere in the outfield, but right field I feel like I have the best chance to throw anyone out from anywhere. So
yeah, no, it's great. Okay, we know today, especially with athletes, technology, whether it's, with, again, exercising, strength and conditioning, but also with social media. And the fact that Huddle is a tremendous, platform for highlights. Talk about, you've definitely been able to utilize that and tap into that. That is outstanding. Talk about that, because I'm sure it's really important for you, coming up here on your senior year at Villa Rica High School, Jake.
Yeah. So like for me, social media is like promoting, like it's a business. So like
Mhm.
if you promote yourself, people are gonna buy your product. So for me, I try not to boast or anything. I just try to promote myself, or it's honestly better when someone else promotes you, really, for your own, like, I don't know how to explain it. When someone else promotes you, it really helps your, let me say, I don't want to say hype, but I want to say, I guess I'd say hype, but it helps
Yeah.
give you a
I
little bit.
get what you're saying, like brand name. I get, I know what you're trying to, yeah.
So yeah, so I've been posting every now and then, but I usually prefer when people post me. So whenever that
Mhm.
happens, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
So I just retweet it, and hopefully a college coach sees, or
Yeah. No, it's true. Okay, let's switch this up. It's just not about being an athlete, being a student athlete, and you definitely have just put up great. I mean, 3.9 GPA. You know, we talk about time management and organization, and it's tough. I mean, the grueling demands of being an athlete. I mean, you got, of course, practices. You know, you have game day itself. You have watching film. You know, meetings with coaches, teammates. Just talk about how, I mean, you've just been able to just flourish in that role. You've been able to, I mean, just so effectively that, you're near almost a perfect, GPA. Just talk about how you've been able to, achieve those accolades.
yes, sir. Growing up, academics were really first in my family, like academics and then sports. So if I didn't have the academics, then I wasn't going to play the sport. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I spent a lot of early mornings in that algebra class, learning individually with the teacher on that certain topic or that certain algorithm or whatever for that
Mhm.
class. So, yeah, it really plays a big part in. I kind of treat it like a competition, like me and my friends. What'd you get on this test or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah, it's like a bragging right almost to testing someone. So
That's great. Hey, that's my next segue is that the support from Villa Rica High School, the student body, administration, athletic department. I believe, if I have it correct, Principal Seth Rogers, athletic director Jason Robinson. Just talk about. We always say that if you have a solid structure, leadership in place, you're going to have a winning program across the board. And in terms of having a successful high school, just talk about what those areas that they've just meant to you, said since you transferred to Villa Rica High School.
yes, sir. I think Mr. Rogers was real welcoming. He's a really good guy. I love him to death. I mean, he's a really good principal. Like most principals are kind of like, you think of a principal, you think, oh, you're in trouble, but he's so he's like a really uplifting person, and I like to hear his announcements every morning. But yeah, I think Villa Rica has a really good structure, and I think some of the other sports that aren't doing so well are going to be doing pretty good in the upcoming years. So
No, it's great. Hey, for you, I know you just again have been there not even a year, but just in terms of the high school itself, what are some of the things that stand out in terms of what makes it special to attend Villa Rica High School, and again that support from the community as well, Jake?
definitely like the diversity, I'd say, like all the different types of people, like, and everyone gets along really at Villa
Mhm.
Rica. It makes it fun to attend, and everyone's competitive, so everybody wants to win.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's great. And you know what? Family is big, and you have such just absolutely magnificent story here. Your family is from Cuba. Your grandfather was born in New York, moved to Georgia when your dad was born. Your dad is from Georgia, Alabama area, and also Savannah. Your mom was a college softball coach. Just talk about what they've meant to you. Your parents, said through this journey here.
Yeah, my yes, sir. My parents have been but by my side the whole time, like through everything. So like training, I really think like my dad, I was on creatine for a while, and he was making sure, texting me, have you drank a gallon of water? Like just checking up on me, making sure I was doing right. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think they play a big role, because without support, you can't rely on yourself. So I really think they played a big role in sports and grades and school. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you just about your mom, being a college softball coach. You said you were around her quite a bit, said the games. Well, talk about those moments, how special those were, Jake.
Yes, sir. I was like 7 or 8, and I would be out on the field with all these college softball players. It was real cool. So, yeah, it was just fun to be around, and I'd go to their games and be the bat boy. Like, it was just a good environment. I don't know. I felt like happy at the time. I feel like that helped me with baseball, being around all those girls and being good at what they do made me kind of want to do that in baseball.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It said extended family. I don't know if you have any siblings. Just talk about as well what they've meant to you. I said I'm sure you definitely lean on them as well. Said during these times as well. Being in high school, Jake.
Yes, sir. I definitely lean on my sister whenever I need some help on a project.
Yeah.
She has GPA, so she kind of has the bragging rights in the house right now. So
that's great. That's great. Okay, I was just wondering, Jake, when you were growing up, any other sports you played, and then I wanted to just build on top of that in terms of games, playing football and baseball. What makes those sports so special to play as well?
Yeah, I grew up. I wrestled when I was like 4. I started early wrestling. I was a state champion from like 4. I think I wrestled from 4 to 8 years old. Then I gave up on that. I was tired of that weight cutting and all that. I just grew out of it. But I think I played soccer for like a year, which I wasn't really into. And then my mom put me in football at like age 5. And at first I played linebacker. And I remember her telling me, like, if you go tackle him, I'll get you a video game or something. So, and I did it, and I was good at it. And then the next year they saw I had an arm, so they put me in quarterback, and I fell in love with the game since. And baseball is just kind of the same way, kind of just put me out there, and then I just started doing really good, and so I was really good at it, and so I fell in love with it. So.
Yeah, that's super. Okay, I know your hobbies are working at the gym, late night drives, and playing Madden. To just de-stress, I'm sure, from all the pressures, the rigors of playing these sports. Talk about that, how you're able to just, be in that moment, just be, relaxed. It must feel really good, Jake, that, you're able to do that, just have some downtime because, I'm sure that, you put in so much effort 24/7, 365 into these sports. Just talk about that.
Yes, sir. I like working out a lot. So like when I'm not working out with the school, I'll go work out on my own. And yeah, it's more like of a sport to me now too. So I guess it was a sport. And then, yeah, I like driving my car at night. So I'm kind of like a city boy. So I like to see all the buildings and like, I wish I could drive it to Atlanta. Hopefully I can soon, but just blast music. Can't hear anything really. Just going. And I play Madden with some of my friends. I usually like beat the crap out of them because I know I kind of use it to an advantage being a quarterback. I'll fake audible and all this. Like, I know how to do everything. So I'll just mess with my friends and teammates. And sometimes I place bets on some games. So, yeah, for some things. But, yeah, it's fun.
That's great. Hey, when it comes to, I don't know, whether watching college or, the NFL, especially with the quarterback position, I'm wondering if there are any, QBs that you pay particular attention to, especially watching on a Sunday, during the fall.
I definitely like to stick to college football.
Okay.
I don't know. I always watched it. I can name some of my favorite quarterbacks. I like Tua. I kind of like the lefties.
Yeah.
I like Tua, Tim Tebow from Florida. Those are my 2 favorite.
That's a solid list. Those, I mean, talk about 2 of, probably, the greatest, college, football quarterbacks ever. I mean, those 2 rank right up there in terms of, their championship pedigree and, what they were able to do on the gridiron. I mean, it said, they put up, stellar numbers. I mean, it just, it was unbelievable what they were able to accomplish. Okay, I just have a couple more left, Jake, before you get the last word. And, I think one of them is, I think you're in a perfect, spot here, to offer some much needed advice to younger athletes out there who are trying to figure out, okay, you know what sport do I play? Do I play multi-sports? If I play football, I mean, there's a lot of competition out there. So I'm just wondering, trying to navigate these, waters here, and just trying to move up the ladder. What would you say to them? Again, you've been able to, persevere and, look where you are at this, point at this stage, in your high school career.
Yes, sir. If I was giving advice, if you're going to play football, then take the weight room seriously, because it really translates to the field. Like, actually, people just don't say that. And it really means something. So don't skip any reps in the weight room. And then if you're going to play baseball, I'd take it seriously too. Like, take your training serious, no off days. So I'd take whatever I play 110% serious.
It's great. Okay. Well said, Jake. All right. You get the final word here. Message for family, friends, classmates, teammates, coaching staff, Villa Rica High School, as well as the administration, athletic department, town of Villa Rica. The floor is yours. Just, what you have to say. You still have a year left under your belt, but I'm just wondering, just in terms of what your message, I'm sure a lot of those people you definitely want to thank here, Jake.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone who's been by my side and during the journey. And I think we're going to have a really good season this year for the community, and I hope they show up, and I know they will, actually. So that's going to be really fun. This year's going to be really fun, but I want to thank everyone. And
Sounds good.
And most of all,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I thank God. So yes, sir.
Okay, Jake. Just again, a true honor and privilege being able to speak with you, interview you for and wishing you continued success, especially coming up here in your senior year at Villa Rica High School, both on the varsity football and baseball teams, and just keep up the great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.